posted some topics.
Ooh, hey, here we go. It is the CastWorthy Podcast, man. Sunday, July 3rd, 4th of July Eve. The whole crew is back. The boys are back in town, fully reloaded. It's 5 o'clock in Ukraine right now, so it's 5 o'clock here for two of us. Um, we got the VP of Research doing big things back with us, and Big Steve, who's also joining me, my 5 o'clock ventures of the 10 o'clock in the morning. And I'm EJ, the I don't know, in between savage. Here we go, gentlemen.
It is 5 o'clock in Ukraine.
I'm trying. Look, I looked it up. Let's go.
Cheers.
It's 5 o'clock somewhere. People say it's 5 o'clock somewhere, but you know what? On the CastWorthy Podcast, God damn it, we delivering it to you where it's 5 o'clock.
Right.
It's the only place you can get that kind of information.
It matters. It matters right now. Ukraine.
It absolutely matters. Absolutely.
The only you that matters.
Oh shit. Not only that, man, we just not giving you people empty information. How many times do people say it's 5 o'clock somewhere? Well, shit, you may want to know. Hey, it's 5 o'clock in Ukraine.
Good point. Good point. If you're at brunch right now, it's an easy out. Oh, you're drinking so much. It's 5 o'clock in Ukraine, eh? We're doing it in Ukraine.
Yeah.
Yeah, man.
Steve,
what's up, man?
You always start with everyone else, as a gracious, selfless host. I think it's the most selfless thing you can actually do in life is be the host, and be a father. Yeah, that now too. But how goes it, man? How you doing? How you feeling?
Oh man, how goes it? It's good, man. It's good. As you can see, I lost my beard. Disrespectful, selfish barbers don't tell you when they're going out of town. Yeah, so my barber been out of town since about a week and a half ago. I text him like, "Yo, you in town?" Nah, I'm out till July 8th. Oh, I can't,
He's in jail.
Yeah, right. He did 30. He did a quick 30.
He's in jail.
It was this girl texting back. Nah, but usually, I'm touch it up and shit, but I was like, fuck it, man. It's hot as fuck, It's 90 degrees, man. Neck be hot. It's time to let it breathe a little bit, man.
So it's 90 there for you guys.
Well, yeah, that's the minimal. That's where it starts. It's probably 90 already, man.
Sheesh. But you shaped your beard up, or did somebody else? Did you go to your barber?
I shaped it up. I try not to keep a bee barber. My bee barber is he's on the booger sugar right now. So
hey yo,
when he's alright, then I use him, but otherwise no. Usually he disappear in spurts. He's nice with it though. He's nice, but I'm not taking that risk. Nah.
So
especially straight edge. Nah, you're not straight edge me when you yay up.
You gotta be careful when he's lining your mustache up.
Right.
Finger, you'll get no residue by your nose.
Yeah. I'll be all right.
Yeah. When I used to go to the barbershop, man, luckily for me, my bee barber was in the barbershop. Okay. But so my barber he's Dominican. He'd be like, "Yo, I'm going to DR this weekend." He was like, "You still gonna come on your regular day?" I'm like, "Yeah." He's like, "All right, Jose gonna be here." I'm like, "All right, cool."
Jose.
Yeah. What's crazy is that like my barber was the owner of the shop, right? But the dude Jose was actually the best barber in the shop. But he's also the guy like other barbers cut 3 heads and he just edging up the first dude. You know what I mean?
Oh yeah.
He takes forever.
Yep.
Sounds like a Dominican shop, yo. That's exactly how mine is, yo. The owner is probably not the best. His wife is actually the best.
His wife.
Yeah, his wife, girlfriend.
Talk about it,
something.
EJ. Yo, when I was in the military, I went to the barbershop one time, and my barber was like, he was like ramped. Like he had so many people waiting for him. So he's like, "Yo, Keisha can get you," and I'm like, he's like,
Keisha.
"Nah, man, that was her name. It was a fat black chick." And
Whoa.
he was like,
We don't
she can
body
get you or
shame
whatever.
on the CastWorthy
And I
podcast.
was like, "You sure?" He's like, "Yeah, man, she can cut." Man, I got in a chair out, like everything she did. Like it almost felt like my skin was crawling. I was so nervous, yo.
Mm-hmm.
She got done, put the mirror up. I'm like,
oh, this fire.
ooh,
Right.
ooh. Like, look at this motherfucker.
You should have let him know right then and there. You know what I'm saying? I can't come back to you, dog. And then
Right.
and then the women's touch, when you're in the chair, you ain't gotta worry about, when they swing you around and your elbow, might brush against, you know what I mean?
Right.
You ain't gotta worry about that.
Or they lean over to do your mustache and they nuts is on your hand. Like, my nigga, what are you doing?
Like, hey, bro.
Know your fucking boundaries, dog. Like, what's wrong with you?
And the way the woman just grabs you by the, puts your head up, tilts you a little bit. It's just better with the women. Well, you don't have a woman barber.
I know. I've never actually. No, one time I got my hair cut by a woman when I first started going. Actually, when I was a kid, my mom used to take me to this lady. Her name was Soko. Shout out to Soko. She was
I remember that
heavy Spanish accent. But she wasn't like a barber. She was a stylist. So. I had black hair. I had black hair getting cut with scissors, like.
And you was like 10, bro.
Yeah, I was a kid, but when I first went to my my old barber Renee, he had a shop. Actually, he was cutting at a shop, and Brenda was the owner, woman by the name of Brenda, and I got cut by her one time, and she was all right, but she was of the. She was bold Ike. So there was no, so you couldn't you didn't, you couldn't enjoy it like to what EJ's saying. The woman's touch. She didn't really have a woman's touch. She had the calluses on her hand and shit. She probably sold more drugs than all the neighborhood dudes.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes.
Aside from that, because I don't know how to come back from that. But was Renee Puerto Rican?
Yes.
Puerto Ricans love naming their male sons Renee. I think that's like a Puerto Rican unisex name of all time. I may be wrong.
I'm just catching up. I didn't realize we were talking about a guy.
Is that from is that from the Bible? They pull everything from the Bible.
Puerto Ricans, I don't know about that. I don't know. I don't know. I just knew he's Puerto Rican. But being that we're toxic and already in here, VP, how was your week? I ain't see you in a while, brother.
It's been stressful, man.
Oh boy. But, anytime he starts with I know it's coming. Lay it on thick.
He about to talk about how something didn't happen.
I've just been dealing with a lot of shit with this house because we got to do the renovation to make it handicap accessible and stuff. So it's just been a big pain in the ass.
True. Mm-hmm. Hey, did you get a listen, I'm not gonna say did you. I'm gonna say get the fucking home warranty. Go to American Home Shield. There's a plug for y'all. There's a plug for y'all, American Home Shield. You need to pay me.
I don't go to American Home Shield, but
okay. Go to American Home Shield or something of the likes. But I think American Home Shield is the best in Florida right now. To me at least.
Akin to your area, absolutely. Because I go through my energy and electric company, which is better than American Home Shield. I had it, but if you don't have any other choice, I would agree with you.
Yeah, it's like $60 a month, and it's probably the same, maybe a little less for you. Because did you guys get a pool? No.
Yeah,
you did. Okay, so yeah, you probably right. You probably be right about the same, 65 a month. But it's worth it, yo. I've been paying that shit since I moved in here in 2008. Man, it's just the ease. You don't got to worry about if some shit go wrong. Like, damn, my AC went. I got to come up with 3 racks. Nah. This shit covered.
Let me tell you something. Y'all remember that winter? It was about 2 or 3 years ago. It was Christmas time, and I had just let my warranty lapse because the only problem I had with American Home Shield in this area was that they don't have a lot of contracts with people to come out at that time, so it really wasn't beneficial for me. my water heater goes up in the motherfucking winter, and it was bad. You know what I'm saying?
Pipe
So
bust.
nah, just the water heater itself,
Oh, okay.
the tank rather.
I'm waiting for my shit to go. I need one, yo. But I don't
Listen,
want to fucking buy one. I'm waiting for
but see, the other thing is you don't have to deal with zero. This shit was I mean, it was one of the cold winters, and I had to do the cold shower things. You
yeah,
know,
Mari
let the
don't know.
kids. I let the kids go where they had to go. I was, take the cold showers, of course. But our energy company that supplies our electric, they were like, "Yo, we come out, we'll fix that joint, we'll replace it. It's gonna be about five." They was like talking something crazy, but then they came out. He's like, "Yo, we got a special. If you join up with us, we'll do this shit for 60." I was like, "What?"
Mhm.
And went with them, been rocking with them, and the home warranty thing is a plus. Now, I would say I don't know if you guys have septic issues like we have to have sump pumps and stuff because we get a lot of groundwater. I don't know if you
Mhm.
guys have like a lot of septic issues, but I would recommend home serve for that. But Steve's right though, man. The home warranty is a blessing.
Yeah, I'm not on septic water, but I know they have it down here all the time because of Florida. But yeah, man, I mean, like everyone that's bought a house at my job, I'd be like, yo, did you get the home warranty? No, I didn't get it. You should get it. 3, 6, 9 months later, oh, my AC went. It's gonna cost me 5,000, or X went or Y went. My fridge, whatever. Well, you got the home warranty, right? $75. Nah, I didn't get it. I wanted to wait. All right, well, there you go. There you go. I mean, listen, it's pricey. I've been paying. You figure I've been paying not pricey, but I've been paying 60. But if nothing happens, it's like insurance. I'm paying $60 now for 12 years. You know what I'm saying? But it's paid for itself. Like my pool pump went twice already. That shit got paid for. AC been fucking redone completely, bottom up. Like, so it's worth it. And then each time they come out, $75. And if they fuck up, they'll, like if the contractor don't fix on the first try,
Yeah,
they
they like
refund you.
they
Yeah, they
guarantee the work.
refund you. They guarantee and they refund it. Like, oh, we'll
Yeah.
send you we'll send you your $75 back. Great. So I just got this for free.
Yeah, and for me, I looked up that our energy company is so large. I guess they actually their techs do it themselves, so it's not a contractor. It's somebody from the spot, And it was actually the dude that came out to change my joint that was telling me like, look, you need this part, you need that part. We don't have it, but look, if you sign up, you're gonna be good. And I mean, since then we've had other things happen. They come out very fast. It's done efficiently. It's but I had American Home Shield. Only thing I had an issue with in this area was that they didn't find a lot of contractors that mess with them, which makes sense because a lot of the home type contractors in my area are like mom and pop places that have been
Mm.
around for 40 something years. They don't understand the business. So it's just they haven't really gotten with them. But yeah, man, I definitely recommend it.
Yeah, man.
All right, cool.
But what else? What you got? What else going on at the house, Vari? You guys
I
see
want
what?
to know about the housewarming.
Oh,
Mm.
that we haven't decided to do anything like that at this point.
What
So
you mean,
What you mean? I'm
nigga?
trying to come over and use
I,
your bathroom.
I got right. I got Christmas presents from like 4 years ago ready to give you for housewarming. Some fucking definitely some bacon pans or some shit. I probably got a fucking toaster oven or some shit in the garage. Housewarming gifts. Keep those around.
Yeah, you gotta add the housewarming, man. Gotta add the housewarming.
yeah,
But how long are the renovations looking to take to get everything ready for you?
he said it probably take like 2 weeks.
Really?
That's not
Mhm.
bad. That's
So
not bad.
just like a ramp is missing, or what?
Nah, we gotta expand the bathroom. We're doing a roll-in shower. Um, just a couple of doorways need to be widened, stuff like that.
Mm, okay. Speaking of a ramp, I have one for sale if you might need it. I mean, listen, it's always an opportunity. What
Hey,
about you, EJ? What you been up to?
you know,
And what's
you
your
know
plans for the
something?
weekend?
My plans for today actually is to this is probably the last you're gonna see me Unless I can manage it with this water here. This might be the last time you see me very coherent. Because I'm getting it in. Today's my July 4th.
Mm.
I'm gonna get it in, gonna have some fun. But you know something weird?
You work
And
tomorrow?
you no, you guys
Tomorrow's
may
your
not.
July 4th too.
No, today's my July 4th. You guys may not have this problem being that you like have wives and stuff, and that kind of thing. But I've been looking for Windex in my house for the last 3 weeks. And it wasn't until I just went to the bathroom just now and realized it's just sitting on the downstairs toilet the whole time. The whole time. Like I've been looking for Windex for 3 weeks and I've been mad as shit. Like I know I have Windex in here and I refused to buy it because I knew I had it. You know, these are the things that bachelors struggle with. So you guys been married, be happy that your life and your house and shit is like organized and it's nice and it's cleaned up and shit like that. These are the problems I have. But
Don't you
other than
have
that, I'm
don't you have
cool.
an opposite chromosome to do that work for you?
I try not to I mean yeah, I
Listen,
try
Roe v. Wade got overturned. They know they got a spot pretty soon. They
hey,
about to start.
listen.
They about to start building houses with
I try
Never mind.
listen. I try to rely on myself because you just never know. You just never know. I try to rely on myself. And I just wanted to clean this one bathroom mirror and I just couldn't find Windex for fucking 3 weeks. But the crazy thing is I've been looking at it for the last 3 weeks. You just don't ever realize you need it. And that's, part of being a dumb guy, I guess. But
You probably move it every time you go to take a shit, and then put it right back.
exactly.
Yeah.
But other than that, man, life has been good, man. Just watching New York baseball on fire, you know.
Yep, yep.
So I'm happy about that, and glad to be with you guys again, man. And
You
cheers
spending
to Ukraine.
you spending the weekend with a little thing, something soft.
Well, no, yesterday
Oh,
was my youngest daughter's birthday.
oh, happy birthday! Happy
Yeah, she
birthday!
turned 8, and we went to the
Damn,
movies.
8 already.
Yeah, I don't know if you ever met the baby.
I did when you came to Florida.
The baby.
Yes, there was 3 of them.
Okay, all right, I forget that sometimes, but
I think
we
y'all
went to.
drove down. I think y'all drove.
Well, last time we took the train and then drove, but I don't remember the baby being born.
The
You
baby
got
was
married when?
just born. I think the baby was just born. Well, I got married 6 years ago. So if the baby is 8, then yeah, there's a possibility.
True. Yeah, but, she turned 8, and all is well. So about to get rid of them pretty soon.
Actually,
And
no, you weren't you divorced by that time?
that
Charlene was not at my wedding.
I
Right.
don't know. I don't
You and
know.
you and your moms were um
No, I
so
wasn't. I wasn't. No.
you weren't divorced, just okay.
Mm-mm.
I got it. I got you. I won't say what.
See. But
But
yeah,
she
man.
still wasn't there.
Right. Well, yeah.
But did you so all right, so you're not spending it with something soft. Does that make you think of, one that you could be spending it with? The one that got away.
No, not at all. Not at
Is there
all.
is there one that got away for you, EJ? What happened to that little Spanish thing that used to live near you? I think that's the one that got away. Did she follow? Is that why?
No,
Oh,
no.
okay. So
She wasn't Spanish. I mean, that was just messy. It was bad. But
who's
I
the
don't
one
know.
that got away for you? Is there one that
Mm,
got away for you?
anyone that probably got away from me, I probably never got with them because I just didn't get with them. Um, everybody that got away needed to get away, and they are away. Uh, one friend requested me the other day. Apparently, she has her own new mental health practice, right? But she owes me $200. So I take this as a sign of disrespect that you friend request me from your new practice, but you owe me $200. So I'm mad about that. But other than
And
that, I think they are where they need to be.
Sounds like free sessions.
No, it sounds like bitch better have my money, as the great Rihanna said.
What's the cost of a happy ending?
Uh-huh.
You've already well, you've been
Let
you
Deshaun Watson tell it. It's a lot.
you've been lockstep for a while, so there probably isn't one that got away. Is there one that got away? One that you might have thought at some point, or you thought when they got away, EJ, and now you realize that they really didn't get away. Like there's two for me that I was like, like, like now I see them on social media, and I'm like, I'm glad they got away. But up until maybe some time ago, I was like, damn, that's the one that got away. But one of them is a Jehovah Witness, like. She's super into God now.
You know you love Christmas.
I do love Christmas. So exactly, which is the reason why I can't do Jehovah's Witness. And I love celebrating my birthday. Like that's a need. That's a necessity. And then the other one, how do I put this? No, I'm just not gonna say. She just got away. She's not the one that got away. I can assure you that. It's probably going to be something toxic, and I shouldn't say it, so I'm not going to say it. Practicing better practices.
Nah, for me, I mean, like I said, there's been times in my life where there's people that are probably good for me, and I just didn't mess with them. But through that span of high school to college, I messed with a lot of toxic people, and they came back and tried and all of that, but it just wasn't worth dealing with, man. I dealt with some people that have been through a lot of bad things, and you realize, and that's why I always talk about as black men, you guys having sons, and I'm talking about just realizing, what it looks like to recognize what somebody else has been through and then what I can deal with. And, we have strong moms that always taught us how to treat women and be this way, but no one really taught us what to accept from women. And so I've seen and been through a lot of shit, and ultimately, it is what it is. But yeah,
how old is your oldest daughter right now, EJ?
13.
That's Kai. Yeah, is Kai the oldest?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you got about 4 years before Kai, give or take, brings home a boyfriend or something. What if he flex on you? Like what if you try the old
I don't think see my kids, they are very strong personalities, and I don't think they would ever bring somebody like that. Now with all of them, I think I'm gonna get different unique type of situations, and I have my thoughts and guesses on which one is gonna bring, but you gotta be prepared for that, so I definitely don't ever want to be the dad one day,
don't
years
get
from
beat up.
now.
Don't get beat up by somebody's boyfriend, yo.
Listen, I don't want to be the dad years from now pulling out the shotgun for the prom and all of that corny shit. But yeah, my girls know better. I think they will. You gotta want people. Honestly, too. Just another thing. While you have friends and family that have children, and that's why, like my niece now, she dates one of my frat brothers, and I've never had a problem with that because I know.
Whoa.
Well, my niece is like 28 years old, right?
What that mean?
Well, she's grown. But my thing is, I'd rather her date a guy that I know personally and what he's capable of versus the guys she used to deal with from the streets. I'd rather that because I know at the very least he's not going to physically create any harm to her. He's going to try to do the best he can. Because I know.
Let me reserve my judgment because I don't want to have to fight any of your frat brothers. And we'll just move on from that topic.
You gotta relax.
VP, what's going on, man? Anything in the in the atmosphere from a political standpoint that's pressing? I know this week we had Ketanji Brown Jackson, Justice Jackson, right?
Yeah.
Justice Jackson. Justice
Yeah.
Brown Jackson. Is it Justice Brown Jackson?
It seems like for the most part she's been having them call her Jackson.
Like a Marine.
At the at anything formal I've seen, but it's it's supposed to be. I think it's Brown Jackson.
Hyphenated.
That's racist.
No, I don't see it hyphenated. I don't think it displays a hyphen, but
so she got sworn in, right? The old sword on the shoulders thing. That's what they do.
I mean, no, she didn't get knighted, but she got sworn in. She got sworn in on Friday. Justice Stephen Breyer, who's retired now, had indicated that he would step down at the end of the Supreme Court term, which was on Thursday, and that as long as a successor was already confirmed by the Senate, and that already happened back in April. And so he sent a letter to Biden letting him know that I am stepping down. And then he stepped down on Friday, and then she was sworn in shortly thereafter. She took the both oaths of office, the constitutional oath and the judicial oath. They have to take two separate oaths for judges. One is like the one you hear like when the president gets sworn in, protect the country against all enemies, foreign and domestic, And then a judicial oath talks about like, being fair to all parties, delivering equal justice, et cetera, et cetera. So she did that on Friday and signed all her documents. Biden signed her commission, which now makes her officially a Supreme Court justice. And then there's a more formal ceremony that has to take place when the Supreme Court starts its term in October. That's usually never televised or anything. Most people never see it. So what you saw on Friday is pretty much what you're going to get. But the reasoning for Friday is that it allows her to officially hire her staff. She's already hired her staff, but they're just like in waiting at this point. And it also allows her to get to work, like to start reviewing cases and things like that for the circuits that she'll oversee as a justice. Stuff can start being submitted to her for her to submit to the court, et cetera, et cetera. And then, I guess you probably didn't think about having a black woman on the court at this point, but they have this old Supreme Court tradition that's gonna look a little weird now with the black woman on the court now. Is that when the justices go to conference, right? When they're voting on like how they're gonna decide a case or whatever, it's only them in conference, no staff, nothing. And so anytime they need anything, they ring out to the staff like, "Hey, bring us, a copy of this law," basically. And so, like the staff come and knock at the door, and then whoever is the newest member of the court is the person that has to go to the door and get the shit. You know what I mean?
So, well, there's that. Hey, Mabel. Hey, you think she had a celebratory party, or she's having a celebratory party this weekend?
I mean, I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, they why wouldn't you?
What you think's on the menu? Give me one item. That might not have ever been on any other.
According to Kamala, it's got to be collard greens.
I mean, greens are good as hell.
Depends who makes them.
I mean, so she's a black woman,
and her husband's white, right?
The husband's white.
Ooh.
I would say, it's 4th of July weekend. I mean, shit, you gotta have some oxtails.
Oxtail. Well,
oxtail's price is a little pricey right now, bro.
I had some yesterday.
Well, she's a Supreme Court justice. I'm sure she can worry about.
Right. I was like, I deserve oxtails, a large at that.
I'm gonna splurge.
So put it this way.
Dangerously.
Put it this way: if the Supreme Court Justice League had a potluck, what is Ketanji Brown bringing? What you think? Oxtail, VP, or same question for you, EJ?
I don't know her nationality though. Is she
black?
Haitian?
She's black. But
she's a black woman born in DC, raised in Miami.
But that don't mean she eat oxtails, bruh.
That's true. Oxtail is not just a black thing. That's more Jamaican,
Caribbean.
Right, she can bring some neck bones then.
So yeah, she got greens on it. It's definitely mac and cheese, some turkey wings. Okay, some baked turkey wings. Some other joints, huh?
Yes.
Some crab cakes.
Talk to them. And that's more of Baltimore. I mean,
some
from the area.
But you gotta have crab cakes though, because that's an upscale thing. The mini ones, maybe not the lump ones. And then she got the green beans, the green beans that's fried.
Right.
Okay.
And then
pan fried.
Ketanji brings that, right? And then Justice Sonia Sotomayor comes in.
Arroz con pollo.
Right.
Let's go.
Two different types of rice and peas and rice and beans.
Yeah, I mean, so it'd be on and popping at the Supreme Court.
Little empanada action. Sotomayor is from where? She's
from New York by way of Puerto Rico.
She Boricua, Sotomayor.
Okay, all right. So there's definitely Coquito there, right?
She's from the Bronx.
Oh, Coquito's not drinking all year.
It could be drinking anytime you want.
It can.
Right. Listen, if you look deep enough into your Facebook, somebody probably selling that shit right now. Complaining about gas prices. Like, I got the Nutella Coquito.
Nutella Coquito, that's nasty.
Yo, got it
nasty. I've never heard of that.
Yo, they got it on deck. I'm telling you. They got it on deck. S'mores. Yeah, wow. I think if they had a potluck, if I was thinking what Ketanji Brown's gonna bring, it's probably paper plates, because that's what the fuck we do. Yo, I got
and what did we say, Steve? We bringing cups.
Yeah, I got paper. Oh, we bringing cups. We bringing blue Solo cups.
He's pushing his blue Solo cups. I said styrofoam, but we know they're not environmentally safe anymore. Mm-hmm. But they probably recycling them out of old boxers now. You know, white people recycle everything.
Oh my god! So red Solo cups in the red, white, and blue holiday belong to they, and blue Solo cups in Juneteenth belong to us. Yeah. That's what we're pushing for 2023 and beyond.
For the rest of the menu, though, I don't know, because Clarence Thomas is already questionable. And then, all the rest of them are like, white folk. And then Elena Kagan's actually Jewish. So, she might bring some hummus or something,
Might bring some kosher.
She gonna bring matzo ball soup or some shit. Like,
matzo ain't bad with some butter.
Yeah.
The middle of summer, she gonna have matzo butter and some salt.
Oh, man.
What's Clarence bringing, Mari?
Man, I don't know, because Clarence, he's from Georgia. He's from right outside Savannah, Georgia. But
okay, so he bringing okra.
I don't know. He don't fuck with us like that.
That don't mean he don't eat like us, because he look like he do. He definitely look like he about to lose a foot. Clarence definitely got the beaties, yo. He got the sugar.
Yo, out of control.
Yeah,
out of control.
He do.
Yeah.
Oh wow.
I wouldn't mind having some okra. I haven't had that in a minute.
Yeah.
I haven't had okra since I was a kid.
It's crazy.
I love okra, man.
This white dude I used to work with, he left the company, but he used to grow okra in his yard and bring it in all the time. This motherfucker, he would eat it uncooked. Is the difference? Oh. Yeah, we fry it, of course. He picked that shit off the vine, bring it in. I'm like, yo, you all right, Nick?
Yeah, that was my dad with avocados. We used to have an avocado tree in the back.
That's how you're supposed to eat avocados.
No, I'm just saying, like, like you didn't go get them from the store. You just went right out the backyard, sliced them shits up, put them on a plate, serve them with dinner.
Was that in Labadee?
No, it was in Miami.
Yo, Steve.
Yeah.
You said you were on a rant the other day. Do you recall what that was?
I forgot what it was, but I can tell you some of what I was thinking.
Mm-hmm.
Or something else I was thinking. So I've been watching a lot of stuff, right?
Oh, I don't know. I shouldn't have asked.
So, all right, this isn't a rant. Let me just ask how you feel about this. This is what popped into my head the other day. I was watching some reels on I think it was Instagram. Scroll through that shit, and somebody was like, "Oh, how would you feel if men's rights were taken away like it was in Roe v. Wade," right? And I'm like, I get you. But in a sense, men did kind of lose their rights a little bit here. A little bit. We don't have the choice to say, listen, I think maybe we need to take a trip.
Well, we actually never had that right. We should never have had that right.
That text message that comes in that be like, I'm pregnant. you can't be like, well, what you gonna do with it no more?
No, that's precisely what you do. So what you gonna do? You can't
Well,
just be like, I think you should go get it killed. No, we never. In if you have a considerate opinion about it, you understand that at that point you don't have the power. The power you had was when you laid down on what you did. But at that point, if something happens, as a dude, and we're speaking about black men because of the problem in our
I'm speaking
community.
about all men. We
I'm
should
speaking
have
about black men. I'm speaking about black men.
how many
Because
men? How many men lay down are being boozled by alcohol into making a wrong decision in the evening?
I don't know about that. I'm not
And
going there with you, but I'm speaking for black men because the problem is too many times we get bunched up in the 5% that is the elite white male society that make the decisions and get all the benefits.
Mhm.
We in the line with y'all too. You know what I'm saying? We in the same checkout line and support place as y'all too. But we don't have that power, and in some instances, rightfully so. It's up to us not to get to that point, right, VP? Feminist of the group.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think that the guy should have the power to decide what's going to happen with the pregnancy. I feel like
Not a
you know
decision, but a suggestion.
yeah,
A well
that's why
sought
we're over
out.
conversation.
A
Like
suggestion box.
if I put together if I put together a PowerPoint that says here on slide 1 you see this is my income, slide 2 is your income, and this is what the cost of a baby is. We might want to go ahead and take a trip downtown.
I mean, I think that the man, the father, is at least owed a conversation.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if this. I mean, I totally feel like it's the woman's right to choose, it's her body, her choice, all stuff like that. But
No doubt.
like at least tell me what's going on.
At least a suggestion, right? Can I get the suggestion box?
Right. Can I drop a note off? Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I mean,
Hey,
to
by the
your
way,
point though,
I plan on
to,
being a deadbeat, so
to,
do what you
to
will.
to your point, like we didn't lose rights because I mean we actually truly should and never had them outside of
Rights was probably the wrong wording. That's kind of not what I meant. But
well, yeah, yeah, I get to your point. So if we are a guy and a woman, or whatever the situation is, and we both have a situation that we both want to be able to terminate the pregnancy, yeah, we did lose too. Everyone, society loses. I mean, no one thing doesn't affect just one people. Everything affects everyone. So I mean, in essence, yeah, we did, but speaking from the black male corner, I mean, nobody is ever going to look at it that way.
okay. VP, what else is going on before we move on to some fun stuff? Anything else going on on the political front? I know we talked about I'm trying to think of an acronym for her, but Katanji, KBJ.
Yeah. I mean, other than that, you have all of the news coming out of the January 6th hearing.
Should I still be prepping to pay my student loans?
I mean, yeah. I don't think Biden's going to forgive all student loans. They said that they're going to do something. He said whatever action he takes is going to come before the end of the current moratorium, which is August 31st. So, he still has like another, just under 60 days or so. I haven't actually heard anything on that front. The last thing I heard was likely going to be 10,000, but that was the last thing I heard. Like I was saying, you still got the news coming out of the January 6th committee, which I don't know if you guys saw the last hearing with this woman, Cassidy Hutchinson, who was an aide to Trump's chief of staff, Mark Meadows.
We talked about this.
Yeah, that hearing was very explosive, and now me and EJ were kind of going back and forth offline about some people in the Secret Service coming out disputing what she said about happening in the presidential vehicle. And now more Secret Service agents have come out anonymously, obviously, saying that no, the account that she's telling is what they heard happened as well.
That's good. That's good.
Yeah. So, it's crazy, man. But like, if people aren't watching these hearings, the January 6th committee hearings, they really should. They're actually very well done. You're not getting what you see in a typical hearing where one side is saying the other side is saying one side is saying something and the other side is having like a food fight. They're very watchable. And one thing that the Democrats did here, which I think is actually something very well, is that they hired a guy who's a former TV producer at ABC, and so he's kind of like the director of these hearings, kind of, telling them we need to, present it in this way. They're speaking from teleprompters instead of from notes or off the top of their head. They
Right.
got the PowerPoint synced up with the questioning and stuff, like, you know what I mean. So it's all running like very succinctly, and they're keeping the longest hearing was like 2.5 hours. So they know at a certain point people are gonna be like, I'm done. Right, I'm done. Let me turn something on. Let me see if the bachelor's on. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
So they're keeping the hearings like short and sweet. To here's the most important information. Boom, we're presenting it. Da da da. And then they get in, get out, and then they let the media folks start talking about what we just heard.
But
Gotcha.
how well do you think? And this has been an issue and a criticism that I've had, or a critique that I've had, or a gripe that I've had for the Democratic Party. How well do we make this digestible for the people that aren't the everyday uh politic
Tell
seeking
tell the
people?
people tell the people what hearings you're talking about. You
We're
might have
talking
somebody that's tuned in that doesn't know what
well, we're
hearings are.
talking about the January 6th committee.
Okay.
And VP, I think he's spot on everything he's saying, but I want to know what he thinks about the Democratic Party's effort to make this digestible to people that don't have any insight,
Mm.
that just the masses of people. And I mean, this may not be the thing that requires that amount of effort and outreach, but it plays into voting season. And the issue that I've had since 2008 with the Democratic Party is that we just don't relate to the people that don't know things, right? There are people that have everyday life going on and they just don't invest in some of these things. And I think as a party that's supposed to be for the people, they fail on actually reaching the people to make it make sense. VP, how do you
So
feel about that?
I definitely hear what you're saying, and I don't disagree with what you're saying. This hearing specifically, I think they actually are doing that, and I think that it's breaking through. You're seeing in polling, more people are saying it's very likely that Trump did something. People are saying they think Trump should likely be indicted, for some of the stuff that they're talking about when you look at polling. Um, and I think part of the reason is, one, you're not having like seven like the first impeachment, right? When they impeached Trump over trying to get Ukraine to set up the Bidens for a criminal investigation, right?
Mm-hmm.
Those hearings were like 7, 8, 10 hours long, right? I watched every minute of them, but I'm a political junkie. You know what I'm saying? You have some people who might have watched an hour and a half and like, all right, I had enough of this shit. You know, um, so these hearings, they're like 2 hours. Like I said, the longest hearing was about 2.5 hours long. They're not talking in these super like technical political terms. They're presenting evidence very like low level stuff here. It's not like they're talking using these terms that nobody's heard before or whatever, you know what I mean. So I think they dumbed it down. They're keeping it short. They're using a lot of video evidence instead of just having Congress people talk. They're talking from a script versus talking off the cuff and things like that. And so it's making the hearings look very, very smooth. The information is extremely digestible. So I think that, and because of having, this is why I mentioned having the TV producer, is that part of the way they, in my mind, the way I hear it, and then when I watch the news later, when they're kind of recapping, it's almost like every point they make, they're kind of talking in sound bites. So it's like they're presenting the information in a way to make it where it's almost like it's easier for the media to chop that clip right there to use in a broadcast later that evening when they present the news or whatever. And then the final thing I would say, EJ, to your question, is that when these hearings first started, the first hearing, Fox News didn't even air it. They were like, "Oh, we'll watch it and then tell people, what's going on." And then as more shit started coming out, even Fox News now is airing these hearings live. And after the last hearing, when the woman Cassidy Hutchinson testified, when they got done, they came to the Fox News crew, and they, like, the three people they had on screen looked stunned. You know what I mean? And so I think this is part of the reason why it's breaking through. It's not like it's this partisan thing that's happening where Democrats are saying Trump did this, Trump did that, Trump is bad, blah, 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 blah. You know,
you getting the facts.
You're getting the facts. And every witness that they have presented, except one, has all been Republicans who are saying he did this shit.
If I was somebody that was running for office somewhere, the content that you're speaking of, VP, would this be easy to use for an ad of some sort?
Oh yeah, for sure, man.
And for people to, I know you're talking about digestibility, but that's what I'm thinking, more along the lines of, and I think EJ's point, and we've been saying this actually since Trump was in office, and why Biden was the right person, the right candidate for the job. Was not that he was the best, but that he was the one that could win. Was ideally because the people that don't keep up with this stuff, that don't have the time, that don't understand, the political jargon that goes on, can turn and say, all right, I love Barack. I trust Barack. Biden's my guy, right? And I think to EJ's point, when we turn around, we try to have these conversations. If someone who's not following it, someone who's not in tune, or doesn't have someone like you to give this information to them or break it down, what do they do with it?
I think my main thing is this, and I'm gonna say this real quick before I dash off the camera and come right back. We just need Jeezy back. Democrats need to go back to Jeezy, man.
I hear what you're saying. I think the problem for Democrats is that they don't understand like how to they don't understand how to give information to people to make it stick, right? And like let me give you an example. Like we're talking about Roe v. Wade a second ago, right? And on the day that the Supreme Court decision came down, Nancy Pelosi came out. She made a statement, and then she read this poem. And all people are talking about is the poem. Nobody want to hear that shit. Nobody want to hear a poem. James Clyburn.
It's 2022. Nobody wants poems.
We
want TikToks, bitch. Get on TikTok.
James Clyburn, the number 3 Democrat in the House, he was like, "Oh, this is anticlimactic because the opinion leaked." So we kind of knew this was happening, and that was kind of it. Like people are saying, like, where's the action? You know what I mean? Where's the outrage from our leaders? Because it's like, if they don't react a certain way, why should we? If they're like, oh yeah, you know what I mean? So
Liz is the one,
right? You know what I mean? But Liz is not in charge of anything. You see what I'm saying? Right. And so where was the Chuck Schumers, the Pelosi? Even I texted in our chat when Biden did his speech that day about Roe v. Wade. I was like, this shit was an extremely weak speech.
He's always safe. Biden is always trying to be safe. In everything that he does, he wants to be safe.
But the thing is that you have to you have to hit these people, and let me say it this way. Sometimes like when we're off, when we're in chat and like we're talking about an issue or whatever, a thing that I like to do
at somebody.
No, I'm not. The thing I like to do is sometimes take somebody's argument that they're making and boil it down to its logical conclusion, right? So like if a person tells me, oh, we need guns, Second Amendment because the government might get tyrannical and, we got to protect ourselves from the government, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, cool. All right, so you have a shotgun, an AR-15. The government has an army, a Marine Corps. They have fighter jets. They have tanks. They have nuclear weapons. So what are you going to do? You know what I mean? Drones. But
yeah, my bad.
Nigga, you got a droid. That's why your fucking bubble is green.
Yeah.
But
droid.
But yeah, you see what I'm saying? And so when they talk about Roe, we're trying to protect women, we protect life, and da. And so my next question is, okay, so you're cool with 14-year-old girls who are raped by their fathers, uncles, brothers, etc., having to carry the rapist incest baby to term, right? And they'll say, no, that's not what I'm saying. Well, it is what you're saying. If you don't support abortion rights, you're cool with that, right? And case in point, a story just came out yesterday. I posted in the chat. Not sure if you guys had a chance to see. It was 2 stories out of Ohio. One, a woman who has cancer. She needs to get chemo. And in Ohio, they have a 6-week abortion ban. And she's 15 weeks pregnant. So now she can't have an abortion unless she goes somewhere else to get it. And she can't get chemo because the doctors won't give her chemo because she's pregnant. You see what I'm saying?
Well, CNN ran a story on how some clinic, I think, I forget where it was, but how their patients have spiked like 100%. I think it was in Colorado. How they have spiked
people 100%. Are traveling.
People traveling.
Yeah. But here's the thing though. That's if you can, because this same woman, she doesn't have a car. She's trying to figure out how she's going to get to Indiana, which is the closest place she can go to have the abortion, right? So she can start getting chemo to try to save her life, right?
Jump in an Uber.
Another story out of Ohio as well. 10-year-old girl raped by a family.
I saw that one.
The family tries to take her to get an abortion, but the ultrasound shows that she's just over 6 weeks pregnant, and because Ohio has a 6-week abortion ban, she can't get it done. Now this family, they're able to travel, so they're getting her ready to take her to Indiana to get the abortion. 10-year-old child. It sucks to take people's tragedy and like thrust it in front of the nation, but Democrats need to be showing people these kinds of stories and say, this is the America that these people are trying to give you, where 10-year-old children who are raped by a family member are forced to 10-year-old little girls are forced to bring rapist babies into this world. Is this the America that you want?
But when is the Democratic Party? When are we gonna stop asking them to do what's necessary? Like, this is my problem. Don't come in front of us when it's time for us to vote for you, because to me you become no better than the Republicans when you don't really feel the fire and the vigor that we have for the situation, because you're not making it a personal thing for yourself. You're not getting up on here fighting for the cause. I haven't seen Pelosi, Waters, Schumer. I haven't seen any of these people.
Dude hates Maxine Waters.
I didn't want to say her name, but I had to mess with her.
But
I mean, I'm saying these are the people that have the social climate behind them, and the only people, right? The same people that we said will never be good for this and that. Bernie, Elizabeth, AOC. These are the only people that seemingly care less about optics, less about friends, and they're pissed off. None of the people in the Democratic Party are pissed off enough. And yeah, I mean, maybe we need VP. I told you should run. I told you should run a long time ago. You should run.
So EJ, I don't disagree with you, and I don't think that anything you're saying is wrong. And I think the reason that you can see for AOC specifically is that AOC is young, right? So she has her fingers on the pulse. Like, she gets it. You know what I mean? Bernie and somebody like Liz Warren, they have a lot of young supporters, and I think they get it anyway, right? But because of the people who are like their national, well, Bernie's not young; he's almost 80. But
they're forever young.
Oh, okay. So I thought you said they're fairly young. So
no, forever young. They get it, and they
have a lot of young support.
They're hippies,
right? So the people who support them are the people who are in that AOC age bracket, who are saying these are the things that we care about, which then is making Warren and Bernie and the type say these are things that we care about, right? Because this is what,
and they listen and they get it already.
Whereas, Pelosi and the Bidens and people like that, these old politicians
and Maxine,
where they're like, you believe they're looking at it like, oh, you youngsters, you know what I mean? So,
yeah, this ain't how this works.
Yeah, so they gotta, like even this week, right? And Biden this week, man, he, I'm not on Steve's level yet to where like I'm fucking done with this guy. But this week, man, he really he nudged me heavy going that direction, because
he nudged me heavy.
He made a deal with Mitch McConnell. This is the week that Roe v. Wade gets overturned. he's made a deal with Mitch McConnell to put this anti-abortion guy, make him a federal judge in Kentucky. And I'm like, what the fuck is this dude doing? Like, read the room.
Yeah, Biden is sleeping, man. He's sleeping. He's asleep at the wheel, and I don't think what I think is he's depending on his advisors, and I think all presidents do that. That you have to do that when you hit a certain level.
I disagree with that.
But there needs to be checks. There needs to be checks and balances. Disagree with what? That they have to listen.
I disagree that it's his advisor so much versus his nature of being in politics 45 years.
No.
That's the tone. The advisor.
No, he sets the tone. But I think he's listening to his advisors and he's making his determination and decisions off of it. I'm not saying that
70-plus-year-old white man who doesn't, as much as he tried to lie that he's in tune with what's going on, he's not. He never has been. He's never had to be. He's never had to be.
I think so. This is that I'm going to put it into.
Let me say it like this. Even in his own state of Delaware, when Delaware State, which is the only historically black college in that state, was getting less funding than the community college and the biggest private university in that state, he said nothing. He did nothing. But many of his supporters and people were coming from Delaware State University. He did nothing. This is a fact. And as much as he tries to say he knows what's going on, Joe has never truly been in touch with the people that matter, because he comes from a place, law enforcement base, blue collar place. They never really had to worry about anything. He doesn't understand. And in his 40-something years of politics, he still does not understand.
Let me dumb it down to my impression of Joe Biden a little bit right now. And it could change, right? There's still plenty of time to fix this, right? It's just like a basketball game. It's only the second quarter. But my impression of Joe Biden at an everyday stance is he is the guy who his Outlook box has 1,000 unread messages. You know what I'm saying? Because he just can't keep up with the emails. He can't keep up with the work. You know what I'm saying? And he addresses as it comes up, and then somebody brings it to him and says, "Hey, did you see my email?" He pops it up, responds, but didn't really put any thought or work into it. And from just an everyday non-political view, that's how I'm seeing Joe Biden run our country today. And I don't know where we're going, but we need to see some change.
You just think he's incompetent?
I wouldn't say incompetent, because that's happened to me in the past, and it wasn't from incompetence. It was just because there was a lot to keep up with, and I don't know but this is how I'm seeing it. This is how I compare what we're going through in America to what I think our president is doing right now.
Yeah, I think Biden's problem is, and I'm kind of more in line with EJ's thinking here, is that Biden is old. Right. And Biden came to politics at 29 years old when he became a senator at Delaware, spent 40 years in the Senate. And Biden's way of operating politically is how things were done back in the day. Right. There was a problem, whatever this problem was. And you got people on both sides. The right are saying we need to do this. And then the left is saying we need to do this. And then you get like 8-10 guys in a room. They're smoking cigars, chewing the fat, and they come together and they create this deal, and then that deal becomes the thing, right? And then they vote on it, and this thing becomes law, right? And it's like I talked to my good friend, EJ from the great state of Maryland, and then we brought in so and so from Colorado, and we hashed this thing out and we got it done, and that's how we save Social Security or whatever. You know what I mean? She don't work like that.
We had a good dinner and cigars.
Right. You know what I mean? I invited him over, him and the kids. The wives took the kids out in the room to play. We went in the parlor, we chopped it up, and the
most memorable part of that night is the cigars and the steak. That's that's the problem. That's the problem.
But that's the age of politics where Biden comes from, where it's not like that anymore. You know what I mean? And the way that I look at a political operator, especially a person like Mitch McConnell is, if Mitch McConnell is making a deal with you and you don't know like what the outcome is, it means you're going to get fucked. If he says he's ready to deal,
I knew
you're gonna
you
get
was
fucked
gonna say
over,
that. I knew
right?
you was gonna say
And
that.
it's gonna be with no grease, and so, why are you doing it? Why? Why? It makes
This
no
thing
fucking
on?
sense.
At what point does Kamala step in and say,
She
"Hey,
can't. There's nothing she can do.
She's not.
She-
Yeah, she's
this
just a
is
black
the-
woman.
so she has no say
The
in
vice
his ear."
president.
Oh,
Let me tell you
No, no,
something.
no, no. I didn't say any powers. I don't see.
No,
See,
I know. I
see.
get what you're
I
saying.
know you
I know
about
where
to
you're going.
fucking gerrymander me
No,
with
no,
this
I'm not. I'm not.
response. I'm asking you, what point does she
Filibuster.
call Joe and say, "Joe, this is some bullshit.
he
I'm
about
about
to
to flip your wig."
he about to cape for her. He about to cape for her.
She might do that in the background,
Cap.
but the point about
Cap.
the vice presidency
No,
is
cape,
that
cape. Put his cape on.
the
Okay.
point of the vice presidency. There's a famous quote from one of FDR's vice president back in the 30s,
Here we go.
who said,
Jesus Christ.
"The vice presidency isn't worth a warm bucket of piss,"
Oh
because
my god.
they have. She can go to Joe and say, "Hey, Joe, I don't agree with do this," and he can be like, "All right,
We
thanks.
did it, Joe.
Noted." You know what I mean? And
Yeah,
keep
we
it
know she
moving.
has no power, VP, but the whole point of having a competent VP is that if something
The
happens,
VP is not gonna disagree with their president in public.
Where does
So she
nobody
can
said
tell
in
him
public.
privately.
no, she can't disagree, but
nobody said
Well,
it
she can tell him
public.
privately, but that's where if he
I'm
says, "Yeah, I don't
asking
agree
you at
with you,"
what point. At what point? I was actually going to ask you. What point do you think she is saying something to him in private?
it should
What
have
point do you
already
think is a
happened.
priority?
where's
It
Barack?
should have already happened. In my
Where's
opinion.
Barack, Barry?
Where's
Like
Michelle?
let's call it what it is. It's been 8. He spent 8 years.
Where's Michelle?
He's I get it, man. Joe Biden is much older. He's been in politics for a much longer time. But at some point, it's just like I said, man, there's a reason why people who know nothing about politics, black people, or just Democrats who know nothing about
And to your
politics,
point, Barack has done this before.
voted for Joe. And it's because, they expected, hey, Joe, just like Hillary, right? If Hillary had gotten in, a lot of people would have voted for her because of Bill and been like, man, remember when Bill was president? Things were great. She's gonna have someone she can go to. She's gonna have a liaison. She can go talk to him. Hey, give me some, some advice. You've been through shit like this. Same type of thing. I think here. Like, do you think Joe is making those calls to Barack? And is Barack too busy? Is he, doing his tour?
Barack has put his input with Joe. He's put his arm around Joe on things before. He's come out publicly to say things. They strategically had them in press conferences before. I think the issue is Barack ain't really worried about that now, and he also knows that he has to let Joe do his thing.
He does, but he's also, Barack is more in tune to you guys' points. Joe Biden is 70-some years old. 70 what? 6, 8?
78.
78 years old.
90.
And Barack is just much more in tune with today, right? Than Joe, and that's rightfully so. You're going to have that. Barack goes, when he does his tours, when he does his book when he does his book tours and shit like that, he knows where to go. He knows who to hit. You know what I'm saying? He knows what to say to be a fucking TikTok sensation, somebody to put it on their reel and shit. Like, he needs to turn around and be like, Joe, listen, man, there needs to be something impactful today.
He don't have as much power as the VP does, and I get what you're saying, and he did.
Let me tell you what Joe needs to do. It's and not necessarily for the country, right? There's a part of the country that hate him. They're never gonna do, they don't support him, whatever, right? But if Joe wants to get his Democratic base to get fired up, to get behind him, to amp up the support, I think Joe should sit down with Bernie, Liz Warren, AOC,
I said this
and say,
before.
"Hey, let me finish, EJ. Let me finish."
Yeah, student loans got to go.
And say, what's, let's say 3 things that you guys think that I should be doing and talking about right now. And then they say,
get your support.
Hang on a second. Let me close the loop, because I don't think this thing is gonna. I don't think you're gonna like the ending here. So let me let me go all the way here.
It's not a happy ending this time, EJ.
All right, Iceman, let's go.
What's 2-3 things you think I should be doing and talking about right now, right? And then they say, okay, you should be doing, we think you should do this, you should do that, you should do that. Okay, cool. All right, noted. Thank you. Then he turns to his advisors and says, take those 3 things and tone it down a little bit. and then do them. Right now, you've done the thing. Right, Steve always brings up student loans.
Oh, so you think it's an extremist? You think the three of them are extremists, and they're pushing us to be extreme on certain situations?
So you do
But
those.
we're just Americans that just want to breathe.
Right.
We just want the level. We just want the level of effort that Trump put forward for his people. That's all.
We just want Switzerland. That's all.
You do those. You do those couple things, right? And now people are excited that they was done. And then, people say we want more of that. Right.
Hey, we're gonna vote for you again.
Right. You see what I'm saying?
But how is this not rocket science to the fucking president? Listen, you're a very wise person. Even I disagree with Steve. I've been disagreeing with Steve since I've been able to fucking talk. Okay. This is not a fact. This is not a fictionary thing. I've been disagreeing with Steve since I've been able to talk. But we're all saying the same shit. Why is it so fucking hard for this guy in office to do this? I think because they have not brought Jeezy back. Until you bring the snowman back to the White House, everything's fucked up.
It's so hard because it's not who this guy is. You know what I mean? You asking a zebra to change his stripes.
We're black. We voted for him because we were black.
But so let me put it this way, right?
Well, because he told us if we didn't, we wouldn't be black.
Clearly
I wanted to stay black. I had to stay black.
Telling us how to be black. Okay, all right.
Let's put it this way, right? If we were talking about music, right, and I said, Steve, in order to get these people out here to support you,
as soon as we start talking about music,
I can't.
In order to get these people to support you, Steve, you're gonna have to go out there and start telling them how Lil Wayne is the greatest artist of all time.
Can we?
You know what I mean? And then,
please.
No, but I'm saying, and so. so now Steve goes out there, right? And he's like, let me tell you about Lil Wayne. And his heart and his mind are like, no. Like,
no, I can agree with somebody saying, hey, we gotta denuclearize and we got thousands of them shits. But to sit there and try to lie about Lil Wayne being the best, I think that's impossible even for a career politician. It's just nasty.
That's nasty, man. But this is what we're talking about with Biden, though, right? So people are saying, hey, we need you to go out there and support X, Y, and Z. And he's like, yeah. But then when he goes out there, like, he ain't saying it with his chest. When he talks about, like when he talks about it, it's like, it seems like these are the words that they put on the teleprompter. So I'm saying them, but I don't really believe this shit. You know what I mean? Like, nobody's saying you got to go the full Kennedy, right? And what I mean by that is in 2008, when Ted Kennedy endorses Barack Obama, right? Somebody endorsed John McCain. And they were like, I support John McCain. I think he should be the next president of the United States, and vote for him.
Fuck did EJ go?
Right?
Stop touching stuff.
So when Ted Kennedy goes out there and says he's going to endorse Obama, he gives a speech. It's raucous. He's yelling. He's like, I support Barack Obama, and I'm going to work for him with everything I got. I'm going to give him all my heart, all my energy, all my soul to make sure. Blah, blah, blah. You see what I'm saying? And now, if you're a Ted Kennedy guy, you're like, yo, if he fuck with Obama, I'm going to fuck with Obama. But the guy who's like, yeah, I mean, I think we should do this. You know what I mean? Yeah. You see what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And I feel like that's what Biden's doing, like, yeah, we shouldn't have, I guess.
Yeah, well, I guess student loans are important, and well, I guess I'll get to it. No, get to it today.
Right.
You brought up Lil Wayne, and I think we missed a topic a couple weeks ago. Rolling Stone called Biggie's Ready to Die album the greatest album of all time, number one greatest hip-hop album rather of all time. I know this is probably not your wheelhouse, and I'm kind of dragging it because EJ decided to walk away and go make another.
I disagree with that assessment, but okay.
Excellent. So tell me what you feel about that. Clearly you just said you disagree. Tell me why and what your number one would be.
Okay, so Rolling Stone said that Ready to Die by Biggie from the 90s is the greatest hip-hop album of all time. I disagree. the greatest hip hop album of all time came out in the year 2004. It was made by the artist Jay-Z, and it was called The Black Album.
It's not even Jay-Z's best album.
It depends what you like. I can get
right.
I can get behind someone who says the Black Album is the best, but I also understand someone who thinks otherwise. EJ, your thought on Rolling Stone saying Biggie's "Ready to Die" is the #1 hip hop album of all time.
Listen, it's the best commercial album that he probably put out. Was it his best album? No. I think there's a album, I mean, we're talking about Ready to Die, right?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it has the greatest propaganda machine behind it.
Well, they're saying that it was the greatest hip hop album of all time. And so that's my question to you guys. Do you guys feel that way? And if not, what is it? Or what do you think is the greatest?
Hey, both of y'all saw Hamilton, right? The play, the musical.
No, I never watched it.
Yes, it was amazing.
Okay. Well, there's a line in there, EJ, where they say it's about who lives, who dies, who tells your story. And I feel like that's what happens here with Biggie. Who lives, who dies, who tells your story. And I don't think that, I mean, the album is good. It's great. It's phenomenal. Best ever? Greatest?
Ready to Die was the debut joint. It's the joint that, he hits the streets raw with, right? Steve, am I wrong? Am I wrong? Life After Death, to me, had more memorable hits, maybe.
It was more to choose from.
It's more. Yeah. But the greatest album of all time, no. I can't say that. And I don't think in hip hop you can have a greatest album of all time. 2 Live Crew and its influence to bass music and southern music is phenomenal. Reasonable Doubt to me is one of my favorite albums. And here's the other thing. Tupac, man, fucking Tupac's album. I love Tupac. Listen, man. Tupac has hits on hits on hits on hits.
Tupac is the Scarface movie of the hip hop and black community. Scarface is a good movie. Everybody running around like Scarface is the greatest movie of all time. No, far from it.
Nobody's saying that.
Tupac is a great artist. People run around. Tupac is only in people's top 5 because historically everybody has decided that he belongs there.
A lot of people don't put him in the top 5, and I think that's criminal. When you look at the album All Eyes on Me,
he's not in my top 5.
I know it's not, and I understand why he's not for you, because for me, I had the same feeling for a long time when he was adopting this West Coast thing and saying fuck the East Coast. We felt that shit. We were listening to music at that time. We felt it. We walked it. We breathed it. It was our culture. But when you go back and you listen to All Eyes on Me and you look at the hits and you look at everything he did from the Illuminati thing, that having the 2 double albums that were platinum, this motherfucker has hits. So, and when you talking about music and who he's influenced, the Kendrick Lamars, the 50 Cents, the Eminems, all these people, Tupac is up there. And this is what I'm saying. You can argue so many people to have greatest. I don't think you can have one greatest thing. I think it goes era by era, and it is what you subscribe to. Reasonable Doubt for me and Steve is the soundtrack of our existence with each other.
Let me ask you something.
Am I lying?
No. But let me do this. When I talk about, and I know you said when you say there can't be a greatest album, it's hard to choose that, right? I want you guys to stop me when you hear a song that you're unfamiliar with.
You're gonna get us shut off live. just not fair. It's not
Wait,
fair.
we're not done.
Why you hoes calling here for my daddy?
Fuck all you hoes. Yeah.
I don't want to live. No, one of my favorite songs of all time.
That's me and my bitch. I don't want to go past 30 seconds.
Can't play that song no more. R. Kelly's on it.
As we proceed to give you what you need.
Oh, we went there.
Fuck the bitches. Fuck all the snake assholes.
But Steve,
As I sit back, relax, steam a blunt, sip a vex. Think about the sexy fingers that I want to sex.
So,
all right. So for the
I
viewer,
say-
for the listeners that don't know what album that is, what album is that?
what viewers don't know that?
A lot.
So
possibly.
check this out.
I mean,
so
we
check
don't
this
have
out.
that many, but
So this is so check this out. This is my point. If you know anything about hip hop, and I'm gonna say, you know, some of the younger kids may not be super familiar with all of those tracks, but if you came up any time where hip hop was a thing to you, if you were born in the 60s, 70s, 80s, maybe even 90s, you can go through that whole album and know every one of those tracks. You may not know it word for word, but once you hear it, you're like, oh shit, oh that's a Biggie track, oh that's a Biggie track, oh that's you know what I'm saying? Just by that.
which album we talking about?
That was Ready to Die.
Okay.
That was Ready to Die. And
you
you can.
don't think Life of a Dead has more hits?
I think Ready to Die is 13 tracks. I want to say it's 13. And
Life of the Dead is at least 15.
Life After Death was a double album. It was like 20 something.
It's like 20 something tracks.
Yeah.
Okay.
Ready to Die was 16. Ready to Die was 16. But the thing about it to me is on Ready to Die, you got 16 tracks that everybody knows that's a hip hop head. Now there's one thing if you're old school and all you listen to is R&B and shit like that, you may not know it, right? But you might know something. You might know One More Chance from it, or you definitely gonna know Juicy. There's nobody in this culture that doesn't know Juicy, or outside this culture when you hear it. You know what I'm saying?
No doubt. And I think the question always is, with Biggie involved, is that it's only been 2 albums, which is a bad boy thing, which is attributed to Puffy. No shade, but that's what it is. I just don't know, because you got Midnight Marauders by A Tribe Called Quest. That is one that's always been hailed. That's been a no skips phenomenal album. You know, I'm definitely not putting none of the Kendrick stuff up there, but I just think it's era based. I don't think we can do something across all times. I mean, shit, LL has had joints in the 80s that were no skips. They had phenomenal joints. I might be biased, but you know,
Right.
I just think it's a time thing. You know,
everyone has their favorites. Everyone has a favorite album that they could say is a no skip. To VP's point, he's a Black Album. He thinks Black Album is the greatest of all time. And I love the Black Album. It's one of my.
It ain't even the best Jay-Z album.
It's one of my favorite. It depends what you base your what you gauge it on, right? Some people gauge it on lyricism. Some people gauge it on hits. Some people gauge their best or their favorite or their greatest on what was happening at the time. You know, it might have been your best part of your life when you heard a specific album or a specific track. And I love the Black Album. I don't know if the Black
album cannot match A Reasonable Doubt. Let's just be clear. It can't. It cannot. It can. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
Lyrically, no.
Give me a song.
Easy
on the Black Album.
Easy.
That can match. I need to finish what I'm saying.
Doesn't matter.
That can match Imaginary Players.
There's never been a nigga this good for this long.
No,
Imagine
what more
it.
can I say?
No, it can't. It can't match.
But in what sense are you talking? What sense are you
Just the
talking about?
epicness of the track, the rawness of the track. Just
What more
are
can
you
I say? It
kidding
was
me?
epic. It was raw.
What more can I say is one of my favorite songs of all time, but it does not. That mode imaginary players put you in when you hear that boom boom ba-doom on Can't Knock the ba-doom ba-doom. Are you kidding me?
Yeah,
Are
but
you not? Are
but
you
you,
not
Brooklyn's
entertained?
finest.
but you can't.
Brooklyn's
But you,
finest.
Are you
Yo,
not
right, but you
entertained?
can't. But you right. But you can't gauge. You can't compare albums on 2 or 3 tracks. Like when you
I'm
talk
doing it.
about the Black Album, you got What More Can I Say? Change Clothes. You got Threats, which was pretty good. 99
The Evils,
Problems.
Friend or Foe, Coming of Age, Politics Usual, Brooklyn's Finest, Dead Presidents, Feeling It, Can't Knock the Hustle. Are you kidding me?
Yeah, you're right. Now that you say those,
Are
now
you
that you
kidding
say
me?
it out loud,
Are you
I
fucking
think-
kidding me?
yeah, now that you say it out loud, I think Vari is
Feeling It. What?
he's off his rocker. Listen, I love the Black Album.
Shit
I
me.
love the Black Album. It's
Can I live? Oh, I didn't even mention Can I Live? And it ain't no. Boom, boom, boom,
and I
boom,
think
boom, 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 boom. Come on, yo.
yeah,
I
you're
know
right.
I'm on.
I think
Come
the Black Album for
Yeah.
me is historic because I went to, that's when he was supposed to be retiring. I went to the fucking Madison Square Garden show. You know what I'm saying?
I remember you. I remember you sending the pictures about that. How excited you were, but go back,
Excuse me,
to the
sir.
Reasonable Doubt.
I made
Where you had
the,
the little.
I was
you
on the
had the Lincoln,
DVD.
where you
Don't
had the Lincoln
disrespect
that leaned to the left. Remember that Lincoln you had
PJ.
that leaned to the left?
The Black Album. What more can I say? Encore. Encore that also got redone by a fucking band.
No.
That's
We're not talking about the
Dirt
Linkin
Off My
Park example.
Shoulders.
We're not talking about
99
okay, you gave me
Problem.
4. None of that matches to Reasonable Doubt. None of it. I'm sorry. Just don't.
What makes Reasonable Doubt different
No.
is he re-released it something like 10, 12 years later,
And it still went platinum.
and it's still top of the charts.
God
But
damn it.
I think Reasonable Doubt was ahead of its time. Listen, man, when I talk about Jay-Z album, and some people say Blueprint is the best Jay-Z album. So
Yeah, some people do.
it's a tough conversation when you talk about the Jay-Z albums and
Don't get me wrong though. To VP's point,
Some people drive cars with their feet. Like, I mean, what the fuck are we talking about here?
I think everyone drives cars with their feet, Vari.
Right. To VP's point, I love the Black Album. Like, what more can I say? Encore. These are the moments when I can actually legally drink and like enjoy music. So it's special for me, special memories for me. But Reasonable Doubt is just unmatched, timeless classics. Like, it's just unmatched. I mean, for you.
Yeah, it is. I like Reasonable Doubt. I love Black Album. I still think. Listen, I'm not mad at Rolling Stone for making Ready to Die their number 1 hip hop album of all time. I think it's a safe choice. I think it's also region. It's region based,
Heavy.
right?
Region
So
heavy, yeah.
so if you talk about Northeast, which is ultimately all real and good hip hop, initiates from the Northeast. There's people in the West, there's people in the South, there's people in Texas, there's people in Atlanta, they're great artists, right? But if you add up the Northeast, the number of artists, the number of acts, and the amount of music that came out of the Northeast, it's heavier than anywhere else in the United States. That's just a fact. And so when you're being safe as a Rolling Stone, it's safe to say Biggie because you're going to have that Northeast backing. You know what I'm saying? If they turned around and they were like, oh, I think Scarface, had the greatest album of all time, which Scarface has an amazing, or Doggy Style, right? Some people think Doggy Style is the greatest album of all time, and it's a very, very, very good album.
The Chronic.
But you're not, or the Chronic, but you're not going to get that same back. You're going to have all of the Northeast be like, what about Big E? You know what I'm saying?
I think that you're right, Steve, but I kind of disagree a little bit. And I think that what tends to happen is that where things are centered at, they get more burned than they could deserve, right?
That's what he's saying. That's
right.
What he's saying.
And No, and I don't just mean the amount of artists. I mean a lot of the media is in New York, right? And so they're in New York, they're from New York, and so they kind of give some of these things more burn than they normally would get. It's kind of just like when you look at stuff that happens like overall, right? A hurricane happens, it hits Florida, Louisiana, the media goes there, they cover it. Hurricane Sandy hits New York, that shit is like wall stop coverage for a month. You know what I'm saying? Because that's where all the media is based. You know
So
what I mean?
let me say this though, VP. I agree with you to disagree with you, and you do this to me often. It's probably one of the rare times I do it to you because I usually disagree with you. When you're talking about it, you're right about the media access and media base because New York is a central place of media, but it's also the birthplace of hip hop. So it's like talking about the origin of something. It has to get that acclaim from that place. But they also think the thing that people don't realize is that New York media, New York City, New York culture, in the tri-state area that it is, has discarded a lot of great hip hop because it is so toxic. So you got a guy like a dude A plus that comes out in 1996, has a phenomenal first album, drops another album, doesn't get any heat. We are more hard on our music up there than anywhere. Hence the movement of the South to say, you know what? We don't need the media. We're gonna break it in ourselves. And so it when it's good, it's good. And when you had the South kicking the door, like Luke kicked the door in, he didn't need nothing. He didn't need nobody. People had to get with him. And I get what you're saying in the media aspect, but hip hop has never controlled the real hip hop media ourselves, other than allhiphop.com. Shout out to my man Chuck Creekmer, who I know personally. But other than that, you got the Rap Radar as the source. It ain't been a lot of media for us.
Yeah.
So I get what you're saying. But it's one of those things. It's like nobody's ever gonna debate the best football players in the nation historically the last 40 years come from Florida. Because that's what y'all do. You know what I'm saying? This is what y'all do. Everybody that comes out, they come out from there. In
Yeah,
hip hop, this
that's a
is
good point. That's a good point.
in hip hop. This is where it came from. This is
And
what we
baseball.
do. We set the tone. This is what it is. And where we might not be the dominant force now, which is largely because we have never been able to unify and get behind each other because of the 50 Cent Ja Rule thing, and the labels have left, and other places are taking it over. The reality is, when you look at the
Streaming.
most timeless music and the best people acclaimed, they're always going to be from that area. That's what it is. But I get you.
Also,
You make 100%. Just like when Power 105 and High 97, they're not even ran by people from New York. Ebro,
Right.
not even from New York.
Ebro,
Like,
Ebro from Cali.
yeah,
yeah. And also,
Rosenberg claims he's from DC, he's from Silver Spring somewhere. He's not from DC.
while we're on these, great albums, I got to throw a plug in for my man Jeezy, Thug Motivation 101.
101 is
Great
tough.
fucking album.
101 is tough. 101 and 103.
Great fucking album, man.
But T.I., man, shit, man. T.I. has some bangers too, man.
Yeah, but we're talking greatest. There's some people that don't belong in that conversation.
I'm
Which
not saying greatest for Jeezy. I'm just saying that was a phenomenal.
no. I mean
fucking
album wise, and I don't think Ti has any albums that belong in that conversation. TM 101 is another one that's. See, I think we grew up. Our age bracket, like we probably had some good, like even Ross's first
Rick
album.
Ross' first joint, Carol City. Was it Carol City or something? It
That
was
was one
really
of
City
hard.
Cartel.
I went and walked.
No,
and
Port of
walked that.
Port of Miami.
Port of Miami. I just remember the Carol City part, but I remember I walked to get that album though.
But
I
right,
walked to the store.
so you think about, and that's why I say some people live their life in certain times where what was going on at the time. I know for me, when Port of Miami came out, we were here in Florida.
Port of Miami,
and
2006.
I had my Lincoln on fucking 20s shining.
Is it the same Lincoln from Connecticut or was it
No,
newer
no,
Lincoln?
no. This was an
that
LS.
bitch was leaning to the left.
No, this was an LS on. It was shining. You know what I'm saying? And so I just think like what people had going on, and at a certain time, sometimes they'll that's the music, that's the soundtrack to that part of their life, and that might be one of the best. Port of Miami for me is one of the top, to me personally, and I know I won't say in everybody, and realistically it's not a top 5, but it's one of my top 5 albums that I personally like. Today I could still listen to.
Oh yeah,
No,
no question.
I love Port of Miami, man. I remember when I first got Port of Miami, I was still in the Marines, and I was actually detached from my unit to another unit, and I pulled up to work, and it's like first time bumping up. That's back when I had my system in the car and shit, and I'm just blasting that shit. I'm sitting in the car just like vibing, and like I just kind of like lost track of time, and somebody came out and knocked on my window, and it was like, yo, Staff Sergeant said, get your ass in the office. So I'm like, oh shit. Like I didn't realize like how long I had been sitting in the parking lot just listening to that shit. You know what I mean? That's a tough one, man.
No, that whole summer of 06, I remember not having any food. Me and my line brother on campus just grilling burgers that we had left over from a function like all week. That shit was the soundtrack, man. It was dope.
Eating ass before eating ass was a thing.
Oh no, I did that in middle school. For sure. That's how I know growing a beard has nothing to do with that.
You nasty.
That's why still don't connect.
That's what was the girl's name that you used to they used to live near you?
You talking about the little kid days?
Yeah.
We're not gonna say her name, but
go ahead. What you scared of?
Nah. Because I mean, she got a whole family. We can't talk crazy about her.
Yo,
the point is though,
EJ was one of them. Girls are nasty.
No, you know you're lying.
And then eventually, when he came out of it,
we never talk about the fact. Ever talk about the fact that you put in my mind early on how things should be. I follow.
Vari, what you been watching?
Hard transition. Oh, yeah, I've been
I'm gonna take a bathroom break.
Right. been my normal stuff, man. Man Who Fell to Earth. Episode 9 was last week. It was pretty good. Definitely took a turn I didn't see happening. And it was crazy. Like for me, I don't mind going back and watch a show or whatever. And so I actually went back and watched a couple of the episodes to see like how did I miss this? Like did they drop any clues that they were about to hit us with this big reveal or whatever? And I'm like, I felt like they did it really well. Like I couldn't see it coming at all. The little reveal they dropped in episode 9, and then tonight is the season finale. So I'm very interested to see how it ends. The thing I'm kind of confused about, not necessarily confused, but like the show is one of those shows that kind of starts at the end, and it's him telling a story of how we got here. And so what I'm wondering,
I did start it, so I know that.
Okay, part. So when he's giving the speech, right?
Yeah, and it's so like a TED talk. Looks like a TED
right.
talk.
What I'm wondering is that speech at the end of season 1 or at the end of the series? Because based on where we've gone so far throughout season 1, I'm not seeing how we get to that TED talk moment. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. And so unless
the alien show again.
Yeah, the Man Who Fell to Earth.
The alien show.
So unless they're about to do a lot of stuff in this season finale, but the reveal they did in episode 9 I thought it was done really well. I didn't see it coming at all.
Did you check to see if it got renewed?
I haven't checked to see if it got renewed yet.
Better yet, you keep talking about what you're watching. I'll see if.
I don't think it has. I haven't seen anything yet.
Well, I mean, a lot of times with shows that come on premium cable, if they don't get renewed, they don't even play the whole first season. Sometimes they'll cut it off like after episode 5.
Yeah, but you usually see by now because they start to release stuff very early that they get renewed.
Yeah, Man Who Fell. I just saw it. It said Man Who Fell to Earth has been renewed for season 2.
There you go.
Okay, cool. But yeah, so I've watched that. I know EJ put it in the topics. Me and Steve talked about it when we were one-on-one last week. Jurassic Park Dominion. I told Steve, I was like, they should have called that shit Jurassic Park: The Search for More Cash, because that's all it was. It was a fucking cash grab. The shit was garbage. It was a waste of 2 hours and change of my life.
2 hours and 36 minutes.
Yeah, it was just bad, man.
That's a long ass
another movie. I watched
It
this
didn't
other
feel. It
movie.
didn't feel like it was 2 hours and 36 minutes though.
Felt that
I
way.
can say that.
It felt that way to me. I thought it was terrible. And then I watched this other movie, which also could have just be called The Search for Cash, but not from Netflix, from the actor. I watched this movie called Spiderhead on Netflix with
Trash.
Chris Hemsworth.
Trash.
Thor. Super trash.
Was it bad?
It was terrible. And it's like, I'm telling you, I told you guys this when they made Red Notice with Ryan Reynolds, Gal Gadot, and
That was trash.
And The Rock.
That was trash.
I was like, I feel like Netflix just says, "Hey, we bought this script. Who's available? Okay, here's a guy we can pay $20 million to. Come on."
Yeah.
You know, and they think like, oh, we put Chris Hemsworth is Thor. He's in the Avengers, so of course people are gonna come watch this, which is why I watched it, right? But the shit was garbage.
Didn't he have another one on Netflix that was the same? That I think y'all actually liked it.
His movie with Netflix wasn't bad. It was
Oh,
okay.
you talking about
it was watchable.
Extraction or Extractor?
Yeah,
or
it
something
was
like that
okay.
Yeah, it was okay.
But the thing is, you know, I don't ever take him as a serious actor because he's in that lane where Thor has become his typecast. So now everything he does has to be fucking funny. Where his brother, I think his little brother Liam is a way better actor, gets way better roles. But like to VP's point, Netflix just throws anything.
In that Extraction movie, it was, you know, an action joint. It's kind of like the same vibe like Taken. You know, you got this guy who's like a reluctant hero type, you know, and he's you know, nobody else can
More
get
like
this except you. Yeah, you know what I mean? So he goes in, you know, and it was that kind of role. Some of the action was unrealistic, you know, but it is what, you know, it was one of those type of movies. A lot of shooting, you know, these impossible, you know, he's gonna,
and it had more depth to it. It had more depth to it. Like my life is over. I fucked up. I want to do the right thing. I don't care if I live. But the Spiderhead shit was just stupid. I mean, it's just, I couldn't even get through it. It was just stupid.
Right. And I don't know who they hired to be his voice coach to make him have the, you know, get rid of that, whatever his accent is in normal life, his Australian accent to the shit that they had him in that movie. But
is that where he's from?
I think he's from
I don't know where the fuck he's from.
I think he's
but the American accent he was trying to put on that shit was,
he is Australian.
That shit was terrible. It was terrible. So yeah, that movie.
It was a lazy production.
You know what it was? Netflix probably rushed it out because all the Thor commercials are out right now. So people would associate the name and say, "Oh shit, Thor is coming. Hemsworth is in this. Let me go binge this." Because Netflix,
all they need is streams, right?
Right. Yeah. And they're you know, to me, I feel like they're falling off the face of the earth because the competition is out there. And like Disney Plus has got all the Marvel stuff that they're coming. HBO's got all the series, and they put a bunch of old shit on there. You know what I'm saying? Amazon's doing shit. Hulu's doing shit. Amazon just putting a ton of money behind it. Paramount's got everything MTV. You know what I'm saying? Like,
yeah.
And Netflix is raising their prices, and they got to find something to put out.
I can't tell you. I don't watch. That was the only thing I've watched on Netflix in a long time. That was the last thing I watched on Netflix in a long time. I have it. I don't even go to it because I haven't found anything entertaining. Because it's always something European that has the voiceovers, and that shit just completely turns me off.
We should probably start sharing a password for Netflix because all three of us are paying for that shit.
I don't pay for Netflix. I use somebody's password.
See, you part of the problem. That's why the prices are high.
Was that his binges or what you got? What you got left?
No, the other thing that I watched was the Upshaws season 2. I didn't even know it came out.
You finished it already?
Yeah, we watched the whole thing last night.
Bruh, I can't get past the second episode.
Don't ruin it. I'm still on the first one.
It's way worse than the first season to me.
I told you guys when I said the first season was bad, y'all was like, "Oh, y'all kid, you don't like black people."
But you got through the second season. The first season was good. The second season is way worse.
I watched it because it was one of those things where it's like sometimes my wife is watching it and I can hear it, but I can't see it. And then when I go to watch it, I feel like nothing lands with me because I've already heard it. I got the visual attached now. So this time I was like, fuck it. Let's just watch it together. And then we binged the whole thing. There was parts I actually laughed at really hard, but you know, it was. I thought it was better than the first season. Actually,
no, it's way worse than the first season.
The thing that really sucks about the show, I think that takes the show down, is that they really incorporate the kids, and the kids are terrible actors.
Yeah,
Like,
the daughter is bad, yo. Both
oh
of them.
my goodness.
Both daughters are bad. The son is a horrible actor.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're bad. They're bad.
But it seems like I think what makes it bad. I don't know that the actors are bad. I think the direction of the writing is bad because you Steve. I'm not going to spoil the second season for you, but the first season we're introduced to this family. We don't know what's going on, and so we get to see this organic thing happen that we can relate to, and it's funny as shit. The second season happens, and the way you started off, it's just unrealistic. It's stupid, and then you really have no direction to go to.
Well, it picks
But-
up right where the first season ends.
Yeah, I
Right.
don't think that was
But
unrealistic.
Steve, you haven't seen it yet.
I
This is
did.
the
I
part
saw the first episode
of the
Nigga's
second
gay.
season,
Yeah, he's gay,
and then he
had
has a kid. Right. So then Kim Fields thinks this is
Oh, I
Mike
don't
Epps'
like
kid.
that. Yeah, I don't.
You
Well, I
think
saw
it's
that
Mike
piece
Epps'
too.
kid, and then so where do you go from here when you make this the focal point? Where do you get depth in acting? You don't get
But she
anything
only
else.
but she only thought
Hit-
that
hit-
for like 2 minutes.
But no, hear me out. This is what I'm saying. In the first season, you got to get the character build and the different depth in different ways. Now, when you start this shit off as the focal point, where does everybody else find the space? Now we're just talking about Benny's kid that he had because he's gay on prom night. That doesn't make for longevity. You're not giving us a story arc.
Well, they move off that. I mean, you say you didn't watch the whole thing though, but they
Well,
move off that.
When you're 2 episodes in, that's the only thing we fucking talking about. You lost me.
Right, but I mean, but if you watch the whole, I think it was 8 episodes or something like that. They move away from that and they start talking about Now I'm not going to spoil it, but you start getting more of the dynamic between
about him cheating.
About you get a little bit more dynamic between Mike Epps and
Kim Fields.
Kim Fields' character. Then there's also some shit that's going on between Kim Fields' character and Wanda Sykes' character, and some shit that's happening between fuck, I'm losing the person or whatever.
But here's the thing:
there's a lot of different dynamics that's happening.
The elements of the actors that's going on between it, it just looked to me like they didn't even feel confident in the script. Let me say
I thought it started pretty good. I mean, I watched it at 2:00 in the morning, so I fell asleep. But I thought it started pretty good. You know, for me, Mike Epps he's got a lane, and I think his lane is not stand up. You know, his stand ups are never hilarious. I think his lanes is movies, like All About the Benjamins, and like, but not being the primary actor, not being the lead actor. He's not a lead actor guy. He's not a Kevin Hart. He's not that. Think about, you know, where he came from. We met him in Next Friday as Day Day. You know what I'm saying? And he caught all of America because he was just a great supporting actor, funny, hilarious. And then he got replaced by Cat Williams. You know what I'm saying? No, he didn't.
He got replaced.
Well, not replaced, but he was not in the next one, and Cat Williams was. That was like
was in Friday After Next.
Was he? Oh,
Yeah.
I'm sorry. You're right. I take that back.
The thing about those Fridays, I think what we failed to see, right?
Yeah,
And
that
I
was the
watched
Christmas
this-
one, right? Friday After
Right.
Next.
And I watched this in Snowfall. It's the writing, you know. The actors can only really do what they're given. You know what
I
I'm
love
saying?
all the Fridays, just like I love all the barbershops.
Me too. And what I'm saying is and look at all of the things that we're talking about. Friday from the very beginning has had a theme, even to the last one.
You know
all
what
the
else I love?
barbershops have
Stomp
had a
the
theme.
yard. Stomp the yard.
I don't even know your obsession with that, but it's all about the writing. And for me, the writing seems to have tailed off in this.
This is why I want to
think
go
you
to
would-
Baltimore and hang out with you, because I know once I get around your frat brothers and I put my black boots on and I start stomping.
Everybody don't step, bro. Like it's old. But we had to go. You had to go to college. You had to come around. You had to come around October to see that. If you come around October to see that, you come for homecoming season. October, that'd be great.
Mu Gamma
But
Psi.
I think AJ, I think if you watch the whole thing, and out the other one I couldn't remember was they even have a thing where the dynamic between the baby mama and Kim Fields, that kind of gets not hashed out, but there's some airing that happens of the issue.
I get it.
Or whatever.
I think for me,
and-
the acting within the writing of this second season just seems more forced to me.
Yeah. That episode also when Kim Fields and the baby mama have their little airing of grievances thing. Man, shout out to
There's boobage.
shout out to whoever's in the wardrobe department on that show.
I'm about to watch that just for that, my brother.
Yeah.
But is that all his binges he had though?
Vargas,
that was
he's so predictable.
Don't hate the man because he's the only reason I'm going back to it. But let me get to my binges, okay? We're talking about Jurassic World, okay? Terminal List. The Terminal List is out on Amazon. Chris Pratt joint. It's about Navy SEALs, special ops guys, and conspiracy. Now, of course, at a point it gets extremely beyond reality, but I like it because I always like something that honors the special ops guys, the Rangers, the Marines, the SEALs. That what happened? What I do wrong?
Marines on
Just
special operators.
Just Vari being.
No, I'm just talking about. Well, I'm giving you Marines. Fucking just.
Yeah, they're leathernecks.
Yeah, but I mean, from the Rangers to the SEALs, we'll keep it that way. That do these missions and things for the government, these covert ops and stuff. So he touches on that, and you can just see the work that he put in to really make this realistic. But of course, it goes off the deep end and not realistic at all. But I love that. P Valley.
How deep are we talking? Like, is it like Fast and Furious? We put a car in space deep in?
No. It's
okay.
It's this one man is like Rambo too much. Like,
gotcha.
Stop it. No, not gonna happen.
Gotcha.
But P Valley, man. We've all loved P Valley for the simple fact that we've been in strip clubs and we like what comes from that. P Valley has now switched from being the simplistic form of what we liked to being seemingly a deep dive into something else. And they've always dived into these lives of these women, but now it's just different, and it's kind of like porn with bad acting. But without the porn. And the crazy part is like, they have male gay homo thug scenes, and then they have, I'm just telling you what it is by nature of the culture, and then they have something where there's lesbian scenes, but the homo thug part seems to be a little bit more captured. And then when I thought about it, and I sat back and I looked at it, I said, damn, there are no good men on P Valley. There are no good men on P Valley, specifically black men. There are no good black men on P Valley. So now at this point I'm watching just because I'm vested. But it's just going off the rails.
You said there's no what on P Valley?
There's not one good black man that's displayed on P Valley other than maybe the guy that was the attorney that is the godson to the mayor or whatever.
Well, he's cheating on his wife, so.
Well, he didn't technically cheat on her physically. He got close to it, but if you watch the second season, it makes you even feel even worse about the character, and it's just like, okay, and it's just crazy. So just the direction of that show, it really goes out its way to vilify black men, in my opinion. But a lot of his shit is real, and it is what it is, I guess. But yeah,
I haven't finished P Valley. What else you been watching?
The last thing I've been watching,
I'm sorry, I haven't caught up. I'm not caught up on P Valley.
The last thing I was watching was this Amazon series that I binge watched in like a night. It's called The One That Got Away. And it's basically, I think you would like it, Steve, because you like cheesy white shows like this. It's basically like The Circle.
Is it reality?
Yeah, it's supposedly reality. It's basically like The Circle where
I'm excited.
You come to
reality.
You come to a place and you know that you're coming there with exes or people in your past experience walk through this portal and they profess their love to you and you try to build a connection. And it's basically the one that may have gotten away from you. And you got dudes that had their high school sweetheart to anyone that they met on IG. So it's interesting. I couldn't really go through it all, but if you like The Circle, I think you might like it. So it's interesting.
I like T. So
You like who?
T.
T who?
T.
Like,
Man.
you know,
T. Like gossip.
like
Oh,
spill the
T.
tea.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's definitely a lot of that. It's definitely a lot of that. And I can't take those shows too much, but it's just funny
He's like
because
Tanya.
but it's funny you open the show with asking that, and I've been watching that, so yeah.
I'm about to watch it.
Oh, I didn't. I thought those two things were correlated. I didn't realize that it was just
I think he subconsciously saw what I put down in the chat and just asked me, not knowing there was actually a show. Knowing him,
how
cerebral.
yeah.
EG just don't want to talk about the one that got away. That's it. That's all you've been watching. P Valley. So I gotta catch up on P Valley. I started episode 2. I fell asleep on it. But yeah, I saw like young Murda standing there talking to the grandma with Uncle, what's his name? Uncle Clifford standing behind the door type shit. And it just I will continue to say P Valley was a show that was pitched, and because we were in the middle of a pandemic and they just needed something, they put it on. I feel like it would have never made it. I feel like nobody would have put it on at least one of those big show or big channels. So that I've been also watching. So what I started watching recently, and I think actually last night I was watching the Will Smith one, the Africa channel. So the Africa channel it's actually the Africa channel, not the African American channel or anything like that. It's the Africa channel. And they have, I'm trying to think of the name of the series specifically that they're calling it, but they have like so the one last night was Will Smith, and they talk about, it's like an hour and a half long documentary, kind of telling you where he came from and a little bit about his life. They have one about Chris Rock, clearly, of course they would have those two, but they have one about Jay and Beyonce. They have a Kanye one. So there's a few of those on the Africa channel, and I can't remember what the name of the actual series is, but they're pretty good.
You're not talking about where he explores like different wonders of the world and stuff, are you?
No. They're actually talking about these people's lives, these stars. So like they did one last night on Will Smith. It was like an hour and a half, and they talk about how he, broke into stardom. They talk about his time under Fresh Prince. They talk about his time when he filmed Pursuit of Happiness. They have some interviews and stuff like that. It's just good, man. It's good to see that side of some of these stars, and for people who don't know them or aren't familiar with what they've done or whatever, been a part of, is pretty cool. So I was watching that, and other than that, man, I started the Upshaws last night. I've been trying to catch up on P Valley. I think there are 4 episodes in, and I'm behind on that. So I got a lot of stuff to catch up on. I haven't really been able to watch anything new per se, but that one on the Africa channel, I don't know if you guys get it, probably not, but it's worth it. It's worth a watch.
Okay.
So the next one coming up is called Everybody Loves Chris Rock, and that's on 7/7. It's comedian, actor, and producer Chris Rock boasts critical acclaim and globe stardom. We take an intimate look into the life of one of the world's greatest entertainers. Fans agree everyone loves Chris Rock. 2021. So it's they got a bunch of them. It's an hour long. Will Smith's one, it's called The Prince of Hollywood. It's cool. So I'm gonna watch a couple more of those. I'll let you guys know if it's worth it. But dope little series that they got going on. But here's the funny thing: after the Chris Rock joint ended, and after the Will Smith one ended, and the show came on, and it's based in like South Africa, I'd be looking at it like, yo, the budget the budget on these shows. Shorty's hair is all like yo, this is the best you got. I'm watching this show. Oh man, just terrible acting. The wardrobe is bad. Like, I get it. I get it. They're trying to put Africa on, but that's it, man. That's all I've been watching. It's looking like Kyrie is gonna end up in LA, man.
I was surprised by that because I honestly thought like we said in the chat.
Really? I said in the chat he would go there.
No, I thought he would end up in LA, but I didn't think it would be via trade. I thought he would get bought out and then just sign with them for the $6 million exception that they have, the mid-level exception. And then, if he gets bought out, he got $37 million contract. Let's assume they probably do somewhere between like 28 million. And then you get the $6 million Lakers pay. So it's not like you took that big of a pay cut.
Signing trade would have been the easiest thing. Sign, because we forget how much Russell Westbrook gets paid.
Right. That's what I'm saying. So, like, I thought he would have played for them for the $6 million exception, but just after a buyout from the Nets.
No, the Nets are saying we're a struggling franchise. We have nothing going on. KD's leaving. We are the butt of the joke for the last how many years? Mm-hmm. We're going to sign and trade. We're going to at least get Russell Westbrook, who we can't guarantee who this guy's going to be, but he might play hard for us. We might be able to trade him.
He will. I don't think anybody. He plays wherever he's at.
Exactly. And so if you're the Nets ownership that's so turned off by these two gentlemen, one who sat out an entire season to get healthy, right? And then comes in, says he's here for the long haul, wants to leave. You got Kyrie, who didn't want to get vaccinated, been on the trip, all this stuff he's been going through. Mm-hmm. You want somebody who's going to be loyal to you. And if anything, give me some draft picks. I'll figure it out. You know what I mean? That made sense to me. But I said on record a long time ago, this project wouldn't work.
Yeah, no, you absolutely did, man.
I made it more towards injury, but it was more for dedication too for me.
And the Nets' problem from the beginning is that they didn't put this together. Kyrie and KD got together at some point and said, "Yeah, we should play together. Who can afford us? It looks like the Nets got the amount of cap space. Let's go there." So it's not like the Nets went in and said, "Hey, this is our vision. We want to put you with KD, and then we're gonna bring in these guys, and then we're gonna do all this work." Whoop, 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 whoop. And then they said, "Man, these guys, I like what they're talking about." They decided to play together, and then chose a franchise to go play at. And now you bring that in, and the whole thing doesn't work. It blows up in your face. And I know that there's a lot going on with the Nets right now. But I don't understand how Sean Marks, the general manager of the Nets, is still employed by the Nets. You lost James Harden, you're losing KD, and you're about to lose Kyrie, potentially even Ben Simmons, who the hell knows, in one calendar year. How are you still the GM of that franchise?
I'll tell you how, because if he wasn't the GM, he would have never had any of them in the first place. The problem is they didn't realize as an organization, as an ownership, the volatile pieces they were dealing with. Now, what he probably should have did was say, we don't need to be dealing with these guys, but he might have done that. But what franchise, and you're looking at the ownership that has been all shock value from the very beginning, what ownership is going to turn down these marquee people that are going to fill seats, they're going to potentially make it look like they're going to have a run, but they really not. They really don't have anything for the long haul. So it really wasn't his fault per se in keeping them. He did get them. He nailed them. When people talk about different organizations and not being able to get people, that's one of the biggest problems or biggest knocks that they ever get. He actually got these big fishes to come. The problem is, to your point, they had their own plan versus an organization having another plan. And people get on the Knicks for not landing Kyrie and KD, but I actually want to give the Knicks organization credit because maybe they told these motherfuckers, like, we're not going to let you just do whatever you want. Well, it looked like Brooklyn had a whole fire sale to just say, hey, do what you want. We don't care. We're going to be the hype for a minute. And this is what happens.
Yeah. It's exactly. And then another thing too, real quick, Steve, is that sometimes when you have personalities like that, you need the Bill Belichick type when you got a player like that to be like, hey, young man, that's not how we get down here. A Phil Jackson type, I know Steve hates it, a Pat Riley type, and they
Jeff
don't
Van
have that.
Gundy.
And they don't have that
Spoelstra.
in Brooklyn, and that's
Steve
how
Nash.
you get KD and Kyrie just doing whatever the fuck they want to do. And now who knows? I mean, yeah, they're gonna get a lot of capital for these guys, but who's to say that you're able to turn that capital into something that fixes your organization? And it's
And
not like
KD and
it's not
Kyrie
like this is
literally
the-
said Steve Nash was a pushover.
right. And it's not like this is the East of 10 years ago, where it's like, yeah, as long as we win 37 games, we'll make the playoffs. You know what I mean? The East has gotten a lot better, and you just blew a big ass hole in your franchise. Go ahead, Steve. Sorry.
Kyrie. So it's rumored that Kyrie wants to leave because there was a dinner at Steve Nash's house, and Kyrie popped up at the house, and him and Steve Nash have a little beef recently because Kyrie made a joke and said, "Hey, take me to the room where Kobe's MVPs are." Basically saying those years that Steve Nash won them, Kobe should have won them.
Wow.
So that's
Steve Nash should have knocked him the fuck out.
That's well, he's Canadian. Canadians, if you're not if you're not a UFC fighter, you're probably not about that.
Non-violent. If you ain't Jordan St. Pierre,
right? But yeah, this is going to be interesting. Not only so, here's the piece, right? Kyrie, if he goes to the Lakers, KD is not going to stay there. It's already on record that KD requested a trade. Kyrie. See, I just made a name. It's like J-Lo and Benifer. Kyrie, the Kyrie sweepstakes. So Kyrie might end up with the Lakers. I'm wondering if they did get that deal done where Russ ends up on the Nets, does KD stay there with Russ? Does he feel like they have, camaraderie? Remember, they were beefing a little bit. They kind of came together in the All-Star game and shit. But, does he think that that's going to be, that they could coexist? Or does KD, they're saying that Boston's been pretty aggressive in trying to land KD. So I'm wondering, sorry, that was a piece of audio I wanted to play for you guys. But I'm wondering if Boston lands them, right? I'm thinking you're not getting them without giving up a Jaylen Brown or Tatum. Like that, that's not possible. I would give one of them up. I would give probably Jaylen Brown up and try to keep
Jaylen's going to leave regardless, I think.
Let me ask you this though, because I've heard about Boston being aggressive, right? It's tough to even ask the question, but you're gaining a 34-year-old KD and giving up a 24-year-old Tatum, who's coming. You giving up one guy who's on the back end of prime for another guy who's coming into prime. You know what I mean?
don't think they give up Tatum because I think they feel like he's a face.
Yeah, they wouldn't give up Tatum. He's light skinned.
I don't want to.
I don't know that I would give Jaylen Brown up. I don't know if I would give Jaylen Brown up either. To VB's point, KD is older. I'm not going to call him old, but for basketball, for basketball age, he's older. You don't know what he has left, honestly, as far as longevity. We know that he's a great player. He's going to be a great player probably until the end of his career. He's a LeBron-like guy, and a Jordan-type guy, and a Kobe-type guy, right? To the end of their days, they're going to be great. The other team that came forward that said they were interested in KD was Phoenix, but Phoenix says, or the Nets say, they're not giving KD over to Phoenix unless they give up
Devin Booker,
which is a tough sell. Like that almost defeats the purpose. You're trying to build that super team.
I mean, if you're Phoenix, you look at Devin Booker's numbers when it counted, and you say you pair him with a Chris Paul. I know I'm just playing devil's advocate.
Yeah. I wouldn't. I still
remember this though, right? And these things you're always going to ask for the best offer up front, right? So of course you ask for Devin Booker. You know what I mean? They say KD was interested in Miami, so yeah, we want Jimmy and Bam, right? You're always going to ask for the most up front, and then you start going back and forth. When Shaq left LA, the Lakers told Pat Riley they wanted Dwayne Wade, and Pat Riley said that's not happening. You know what I mean? And then they worked it out, and then you end up getting a combination of Lamar Odom and all those other guys plus
Butler,
right? And then they trade for Shaq. You know what I mean? So, the Nets come out and say Devin Booker, either Devin Booker or walk, and they say, let's talk, you know what I mean, and then you end up with like Aiton and some other guys and some picks.
I would like to see KD go to EJ's team for not the Knicks. EJ's team for next year, which is the Bulls. I would love to see him
That's
with
not my
all.
team for the next year. My team next year is Cavs.
Oh, I'm sorry. You're right. The Cavs. That's what I meant. I was thinking Garland and those boys, because that would be a great fucking. I think that's a great pairing. Those young
But
kids.
he would never go. He would never go to LeBron's city.
You're right. Absolutely.
He
But
would never do that.
I would love to see that team. But if I'm KD, listen, I'm going to Orlando.
I was gonna say, it's nothing stopping you from going to a place where there's not a lot of pressure.
Listen,
they got as much bread as you want.
They got tons of money. It's tax free. The same thing Miami brings for you. You got a lot of young talent that are all on their rookie contracts, so they got a lot of money, so they can go pay. They can go get somebody else this year or next year. If you're trying to build a 2 or 3 man super team, you just had the number 1 overall pick. If you move him for someone, if you really had to grab, to get what it takes for KD to be, to build your big 3, kind of like
Boston,
like Boston or Miami, really is what I was thinking. There's a lot of options if you were to come to a team, or if he was to come to a team in Orlando where they have tons of money, and young talent and picks that they can go ahead and make light work of to try and build around him. Otherwise, I mean, maybe Minnesota, right? Where Minnesota now has 2 big men, you know what I'm saying? And they still have a lot of good guard play. They still got Anthony Edwards. If the Nets can do an Anthony Edwards and a D'Lo, I know D'Lo was already there, but for those 2, and now you got Karl Anthony Towns, Rudy Gobert, and KD, and then you get your young talent that they just brought over from Houston. That could be something too.
No, I hear what you're saying, but I think for KD
or Portland,
the window is small, so you're not trying to go to a place that has young talent that's going to be something in the next couple of years. Obviously, with a KD, it's going to elevate whatever that franchise was going to be doing in the upcoming season, right? He's that type of player. But I think there's a reason why teams like Miami and Phoenix were top 2 on his list, was because those teams are kind of ready-made, where it's like you plug me in, and now we're talking about going to the conference finals or finals. Not saying we're winning it, but you're going there. You I've also been hearing that another team that's kind of been putting in some aggressive talk with the Nets is Philly. With they're talking about moving like a Maxey, Tobias Harris.
That would be fucking like ridiculous. If that happens, I'm not watching NBA anymore. I'm not, because for you to go this and that to this and that, I'm not watching NBA.
That's not gonna happen. That's not gonna happen. That I think is extremely far fetched. Now,
I would rather KD go to Miami than fucking go to Philly.
You know what could happen is he could end up in Atlanta. With
Atlanta blew their load when they traded for Delonte Murray.
Delonte,
Delonte, whatever he says, fucking yeah. It had they waited 3 hours. Had Atlanta waited 3 hours, they could have made a move for KD. And because when I first heard the KD news, I was like, man, my one of my homegirls from work who's a fan of the podcast, she was like, where you think he's going? I was like, man, I wouldn't be surprised he go to Atlanta. And then I looked on my Twitter and saw the Murray news, and I was like, oh, he's not going to Atlanta.
Which I like Murray. He's
more capital.
The other
beast.
The last spot that I think he could be a plug and play, and they could be a huge player, is Dallas. If you can get him over there with Luka, oh my god,
yeah.
Oh my god, that team is something different. And even if they got to keep Tim Hardaway Jr., they just lost Brunson, but you keep Tim Hardaway Jr., you still got Luka, huge Luka, who I think Luka's the future. It's a shame that he's so damn old already, but he could be the future of the NBA if he can stay healthy. I think that would be a great look for him. But going back to that Western Conference, that makes it that much tougher with all these other teams getting harder or stronger.
KD is a very hard sell, and I think VP's point of getting
this nigga,
I know VP's point of getting people into New Jersey, Brooklyn it's gonna be more of a sale. Sorry, Jesus Christ.
This nigga. Listen,
Yeah.
you drink some water.
And then also
Hold your breath.
just from a like rules standpoint, Ben Simmons is going to complicate the trade with almost any team the Nets can operate with, right? Because if you go with the Heat, they have a some kind of contract restriction in the NBA where you can't have two players on the same, like you can't trade for another player that's on a rookie extension. So like that's why Miami can't trade Bam to the Nets because they got Ben Simmons. He's on a rookie extension. Bam's on a rookie extension.
Oh shit.
Same thing with Devin Booker. Devin Booker's on a rookie extension, so is Ben Simmons. So if you whatever team they decide on, and a lot of teams have got players who are on their rookie extension, so they're gonna have to find a third team to try to move Ben Simmons to acquire whoever it is they're trying to get from the other teams or whatever. You know what I mean? So this KD trade is not as simple as just moving KD for this player and then plug and play, et cetera, et cetera.
Yep, you got a point. It's going to be interesting to see where he lands. Nonetheless, football season is right around the corner. We've got just about July, August, about 60 days until the true draft season. Big draft season kicks in. So
about to start next week or two.
Yep, can't wait for all of that to begin. So get your little basketball out the way. Baseball, of course. Yankees and Mets are balling, and it's one of them years. It's still early. All-Star season is coming up. All-Star weekend is coming up, so we'll see what the second half of the baseball season looks like. But I think that's it, man. We went long today. So was there anything else absolute at the moment?
Nah, man. I think we're good. I think we covered it.
All right. Well, let me get you on the horn before the hiccuper comes back, and you can take us up out of here, man.
All right, everybody who joined and listened to the podcast live, we definitely appreciate you taking the time out of your Sunday morning / afternoon to join us, talking about what's going on around the world, the country, etc. For those who will listen once the podcast posts, we definitely appreciate you taking that time as well. As we've been saying for a couple of months now, reach out to somebody, let them know you're thinking about them, send that text message, email, phone call, whatever. Tomorrow's not promised, so definitely go ahead and do that. And if I could take a point of personal privilege, since I got the mic now, I would like to wish my beautiful wife a happy 21st anniversary yesterday. And spending all this time rocking with me, grinding with me, taking care of me, and I hope that she knows that she is the light of my life, and I love her with all my heart. So just want to go and put that out there. And you can find the podcast on all podcasting platforms. Just search at CastWorthy. You can also find us on any of our social media. Search at CastWorthy on Instagram. It's at CastWorthy_podcast. While you're there, if you could subscribe, comment, like, share, and follow. Tell a friend to tell a friend. Help us grow the audience. We would definitely appreciate it. And we will see you guys on the next episode of the CastWorthy podcast. We're out. We love you. Peace.